Welcome to Some Topic, the podcast where two dangerously underqualified individuals tackle an ever-changing buffet of subjects we have no business discussing. From global politics to ghost squirrels, nothing is off limits, and nothing is properly researched. We are your hosts, two voices with microphones, a Wi-Fi connection, and just enough confidence to sound like we know what we're talking about. Spoiler, we don't. But that's never stopped anyone with a podcast before, and we refuse to be the first. Every week, we plunge headfirst into topics both serious and stupid, usually at the same time, armed only with sarcasm, caffeine, and a dangerous overestimation of our own coherence. Whether it's philosophy, politics, pop culture, or paranormal rodents, we approach each subject like two raccoons who broke into the Library of Alexandria, knocked over a torch, and now insist the fire was enlightenment. Our findings? Improvised. Our sources? Suspect. Our method? Whatever we yanked from our asses while marching proudly up the hill of stupidity, ready to fall honorably in the fog of ego, ontological confusion, and the blood-slick ruins of abandoned discourse. It's too late to turn back now. Your descent has begun. And we, your casually deranged hosts, will guide you in style straight through the crumbling ruins of reason. Listener discretion is enthusiastically advised. This podcast contains strong language, stronger delusions, and a persistent disregard for intellectual safety. If you're easily offended, chronically literal, or spiritually fragile, please relax your chakras, unclench whatever needs unclenching, and consider yelling at a tree instead. This is not journalism. This is not education. This is comedy. This is play. This is Some Topic. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 3. The bin giveth and the bin taketh away, usually depending on pickup day. I need to give a brief update regarding the unpaid interns. For last fiscal quarter, their caffeine habits were entirely self-funded through dumpster-based nutrition and used coffee grounds rescued from the trash compactor behind the local prison. As you can imagine, results were inconsistent. Archival accuracy, unstable. Claw precision, questionable. Midday existential collapse, guaranteed. It was a difficult quarter. But that ends today. We've transitioned the entire intern program to Strong Coffee Company. Their black blend has 15 grams of protein, 5 grams of MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha and L-theanine. So instead of spike and crash routines, it's a sustained focus. The results speak for themselves. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, it might as well pull its weight. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at strongcoffeecompany.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a mason jar instead of a magnifying glass while searching for mythic relics buried in a landfill, we'll tell you plainly. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So if you grab some, you're not just upgrading your coffee. You're funding structured nutrition for the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your service. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 1. In the beginning, the trash was without form and void, but raccoons saw that it could be organized.
Now, my friend Bert, I think you were telling me on our latest episode that just came out, the AI, that we had forgotten to mention that we think that there is something similar to what happened back in '08, which was the Great Recession, which was the housing crisis bubble. We think, or you were mentioning, that there is a potential AI bubble almost in comparison. Want to elaborate on that thought?
Well, Nick, thank you for bringing that up. I am not a huge finance guy, nor am I a huge tech bro. But
I don't know, bro. You like tech.
being not the world's biggest fan of AI, I am sort of hopeful for an AI bubble. Even if at this point it would, take out everything and affect everything and not just
Would
AI
it?
or the tech companies.
Like, genuinely, would that... Because I read on
I
the...
think so. I mean, they've started building all of these data centers in backwater towns and stuff, right?
Yeah, so I think... So, two things. I vaguely recall a comment from a contractor on how Elon Musk is expanding his building down in Tennessee, where there is a backup in steel production for this big warehouse. And I think when I did some research into it, the warehouse was for data centers. So I know they're producing them like out the wazoo, and they're the steel comes from Nucor Yamada, right? And they have a bunch of subsidiaries, whatever the fucking word is. And there, if there is a bubble, you have all of this resources, all these materials going into building the infrastructure for this bigger and bigger and better AI. So yeah, that would be a potential problem. And then the second thing was, I remember that, at least from an AI standpoint, how does anyone, how if it does crash, like if you don't have ChatGPT, you don't have Gemini, you don't have Microsoft Copilot, you don't have Grok, you don't have, insert whatever latest fashionable AI name there is. What how does that collapse anything? It might take away some stuff, but it's not like it's vital infrastructure. Things still work without AI.
Right. The model that they're going with is sort of bizarre. It sort of presupposes that shitification is going to happen.
Shitification.
Yeah. First,
Is that the word of the episode, or is that the episode of
shitification
this?
is a real tech phenomenon.
Is
It's
it?
a very real tech.
Oh, I thought we made that up. Okay.
No, we're not creative here.
Oh no, we're not. We don't create
No,
anything.
They want to get everybody used to it and dependent on it, and then rug pull everyone and start charging subscriptions for it. Because charging subscriptions for it is going to be the only way that they're going to even begin to think about recouping all of these losses.
Well, so part of whenever this episode comes out,
That and, putting ads into AI responses and
Dude,
shit,
they
which
just
is
did that.
nightmarish. And,
they just did that with ChatGPT.
oh my god. Have you gotten any ads for them?
Oh my god! So there was an article saying that there was no data that supported that there was an increase in traffic from ChatGPT's ads. So probably when this comes out, it might be old news, but as of right now, it's just you submit your responses, blah blah blah, and then you get the actual ad underneath of your answer. I just ignore it, or you can close it and shut it off, which is fine. It's just silly. It's like, why?
Right.
You had a perfectly fine system going, and you got people paying for subscriptions. It's like, let's not go down that
Yeah,
rabbit
hopefully
hole.
once everyone realizes that nobody really wants AI and that it's not making anybody any money, that they'll stop trying to push it so hard in every single new feature.
Well,
I fucking hate Windows 11.
you are not a tech bro.
What, because I hate Windows 11?
Everybody loves Windows 11. What's wrong with you?
I'm going to rip my hair out.
Well, you do have a lot of hair. You need to cut it, bro. But whatever. You look like a wannabe rock star. You're just one like headbang away from like just pure.
For listeners at home, I look like Weird Al.
they ever do a remake of the Weird Al Yankovic movie with Harry Potter, you'd be a strong contender, my friend.
Oh yeah.
So that was a little excerpt from our previous episode that just came out.
Yeah, we didn't talk about AI art either.
All right. Well, what's your opinion on art?
Well, I'm not a huge artsy-fartsy sort either, neither am I a huge tech bro, but I did want to gripe about how, when AI art was first getting wheeled out, I was sort of cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. I feel like that's an oxymoron. I'm optimistic, but I'm cautious? I don't know. You're either optimistic or you're not optimistic.
Maybe you just have the emotional intelligence of a teaspoon. I don't know.
Maybe I have no EQ. You ever think about that, you insensitive bastard?
Yeah. Should do an episode on that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
No, when AI art was first coming out, it was real weird. It was real surreal and dreamlike. Kind of different from a lot of stuff that had come before. Not like usual surreal or impressionist art or anything.
Okay.
That might also help, that I do like impressionist art. But no, I was interested that here's this bizarre shit getting vomited up by something that's not human. That there's no sense of reason or logic to it besides, it's scraped out by observation of trillions of other pieces of art. I thought it was sort of interesting that way. In a way, not exactly like, but sort of similar to like if you've ever seen a painting done by a elephant or by an ape.
I mean, what's the age-old expression? You give 1,000 monkeys a typewriter, eventually, over millions and millions of hours, they're going to shit out the fucking Lord of the Rings or whatever book story that you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little like how machine learning works. We talked about that yesterday.
Just with criterias and eventual constraints and learning, 1 million deaths, and they finally punch out the thing I want. Only for me to say, yeah, not good enough, try again.
Speaking of the death of literature, what was it that you wanted to talk about?
Paul Blart versus John McClane, which is today's episode. It's a hell of an intro. Yeah, AI to, wow, look at this Paul Blart character.
I don't know what you mean.
Isn't Kevin
I'm
James
more
the
familiar
guy that does it? Paul Blart?
Yes, he is.
I don't think he's funny.
No, that's because he's not.
Okay, at least we agree on that.
Now, would I buy a ticket to the movie theater to go and see Kevin James and Paul Blart Mall Cop 3 Rise of the Machines? Absolutely.
I guess that's how we tie in the intro. It's Paul Blart 3 Rise of the Machines. Artificial intelligence, what happens after the bubble bursts. I don't know. I think the first one was silly and a little bit unrealistic, and then the second one was just like, why was there a second one? It's just, that's what they typically do in Hollywood. It's a cash grab. It's why. And you were telling me some schmuck on the internet does this Thanksgiving challenge. Who's that?
Yeah, a little known podcast called The McElroy Brothers.
Oh, I have no idea who that is.
They do a Fall Blart.
Fall Blart. All right, that's clever. I like that. I can respect the pun.
No, they do a Paul Blart annual watch party podcast sort of thing. Till Death Do Us Blart.
Okay.
That's the name of it. The idea is that it's going to be an eternal podcast, that it's going to keep going on after all the hosts die. So they have to select an heir to inherit their position on the podcast if one of them dies. Which raises some questions about is it ethic? Because it's been going on 10, 11 years now.
Is it?
The question has been asked, is it ethical to pass my position on this horrible podcast where you have to bear the burden of watching this horrible movie to my child? Or is this a curse to bestow upon my worst enemy?
Well, it's nature versus nurture, right? If you grow up with watching Paul Blart 2 from your infancy to your teenage years, it's almost an insult to not watch it because you have so much time invested in it and so many cherished childhood memories.
Family tradition.
And it's like, of all the family traditions I want to have in life, why the fuck would I want to go watch Kevin James driving a Segway? Whatever.
Yeah,
Is it a Segway?
Yeah, it's a Segway. I mean, for a while, like, I don't know why, but my family was not a huge football house. So a lot of times on...
I guess we should reiterate, football with your feet or with your hands?
Oh, fuck off. So a lot of times in Thanksgiving, like, they would also be airing, like, The Wizard of Oz or something on a second channel. So we would always have The Wizard of Oz on in the background. And now I fucking hate The Wizard of Oz.
I can't stand it. I don't ever like The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, nobody ever likes The Wizard of Oz, but they play it all the goddamn time and insist it's a classic. Much like Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That is not a classic. You cannot convince me it's a classic. You know what's a classic?
What's that?
Fucking Die Hard. That's a Christmas movie.
Love Die Hard.
Why the fuck aren't they doing a tradition where they're watching Die Hard every year?
I watch Die Hard every year. I watch Die Hard for Christmas. I'm one of those people.
It's a Christmas movie.
It takes place during Christmas.
Now, here's a question. Why is it a Christmas movie?
Because the sequence of events takes place on December 25th.
There you go. That's why it's a Christmas movie. Thank you. That's all there is to it. Now, what's your experience with John McClane? Because that's Bruce Willis when he had hair. Right?
He had a non-zero amount of hair.
In Die Hard?
Yeah, he didn't have, Weird Al hair or anything.
Well, yeah, but he still had hair before he, got old and old stuff happened to him.
I love the first Die Hard.
Yeah, my favorite part of the movie is more towards the end of it. It's you got Severus Snape before he passed, and he's the villain, and he's just always a great villain. And you're watching him, John McClane, go through these air ducts, just literally almost MacGyver his way through top to bottom.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 3. The bin giveth and the bin taketh away, usually depending on pickup day. I need to address a structural issue within the intern nutritional program. We refined caffeine protocols, we've implemented recovery measures, but one variable remained unstable: baseline nutrition. You can't build sustained performance on coffee and regret alone. You can optimize spikes, you can mitigate crashes, but if the system is depleted, you mistake stimulants for sustenance. Performance wasn't just chaotic, it was inconsistent. That's when we introduced Zevo Life. It's a patented microalgae designed to support steady energy, digestion, and overall vitality, helping your system operate consistently instead of constantly compensating. Packed with essential amino acids, vitamins A, B12, E, and K, antioxidants, minerals, and bioactive compounds, all within a single teaspoon. It's not stimulation, it's foundation. We added it to the intern's daily allocation, and the Intern Nutritional Authority has adopted it into long-term protocols. You can get 30% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at zevo.life. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon gazing into the future through a rearview mirror, we'll tell you plainly, the show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just upgrading your nutrition, you're reinforcing the structure that carries you through life's impacts. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for investing in the long game. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 4. Remember, cleanliness is next to loneliness. Seek the comfort of clutter.
Now, coming back from our break, I have a special guest star called my girlfriend's dog, who goes by the wonderful name of Chunkers, who is not entirely fat, just incredibly furry. So if you hear a dog barking in the background, that would be our podcast mascot. The dog, the raccoons, ride into the night. So, as I was saying, John McClane, he is every bit the stereotypical action hero.
What?
Isn't he?
No.
What do you mean, no?
It says on the Wikipedia article that he's not.
What do you mean he's not?
That the archetypal 80s action hero is something more like Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, didn't you see, like, Last Action Hero and Predator and stuff? We watched some crummy Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie together.
I
remember him
comparing him
shooting the
to...
RPG
I wasn't comparing him to the... to just in general. He is an action hero in that movie. Like, name...
Yeah, he's
how
the
is he
hero
not going
in
through
an
the...
action movie, but he's not a muscle-bound meathead who's
Well,
tearing
okay.
apart the mansion and firing RPGs at helicopters. He's a small, broken man.
He's a small, broken man. He is but a man with a gun. He has a particular set of skills. He knows where Severus Snape is, and he knows where the wand is. I think my favorite part is what he does, the gun trick towards the end, where is the end of that movie where he ends up putting his hand on the barrel to stop it from shooting him? There was a scene about that where he ends up he's got it duct taped to his back. He ends up shooting a bunch of people, cool, whatever. So he's got the gun hidden. But there's also a scene where he actively takes, like, if you take the nose of a certain specific type of gun, which this was that gun, you can stop the pin from the top of the gun from firing back to going forward. And by putting his hand on the actual gun, he's like, shoot me. And it won't do it. Like, it won't fire. Now, I'm trying to remember if that was in The Dark Knight Rises, Die Hard 1, or a different movie altogether. Because at some point, all action movies blur together.
God. No, you're thinking of The Dark Knight, where he has the, where Heath Ledger's Joker has his thumb placed so that even if Harvey Dent pulls the trigger, the hammer won't strike. It'll hit his thumb instead. No, what you're thinking of in Die Hard is he has his hands up to surrender, John McClane there, but he's got his pistol duct taped to his back.
That's it. Okay. I just really like the you cannot beat Heath Ledger. He's such a great Joker.
He's not in this movie.
Well, I know, he's still a good Joker. What do you want from me? So, okay. He's not an 80s action hero. Cool, whatever. But he is your stereotypical meathead action hero for everything works out because plot armor. Agree?
What does that mean to you?
It means that no matter what happens, there's always a solution, and he's always going to win at the end of the day. So, I think a big part of John McClane's entire character is that he embodies almost chaotic destruction in just how he goes to solve things, and everything is with guns, everything is with explosions. There's not a lot of humor. He's just like, point A, point B. That's how you get there.
There's not a lot of humor compared to a fucking Marvel movie.
Correct.
It's not totally humorless. There's plenty of light moments in the movies and one-liners and stuff. He's in the middle of a hostage crisis trying to save his small children and shit.
Okay,
He's
but
not
then
exactly
compare that
the
to
best
Paul
movie.
Blart. Compare that to Paul Blart.
Oh.
What does he do?
I forgot we had to compare this to Paul Blart. Oh, okay, yeah. Compared to Paul Blart, no, he is a wonderful action hero with a sharp wit and totally muscle-bound and...
We go on one break, and your brain goes, I'm on break 2. LMFAO. A great, great band. For our younger listeners, definitely listen to them.
I can't help it that Paul Blart is just a forgettable movie.
All right. So, again, Paul Blart, mall cop. He's not a cop. He failed the police academy due to hypoglycemia. What is that? You can't have gluten or whatever?
No. Hypoglycemia is a real thing. It just means like low blood sugar. It's a symptom of like diabetes and stuff. It is not it's a symptom, it's not a disease, and it doesn't work the way it does in Paul Blart.
Okay.
Famously.
How does it typically work? Or did you just say that?
Well, it typically works that like there should... It's like a golden mean. There should be the correct amount of sugar in your blood. And if there's too much or too little, it'll fucking kill you.
Okay. So, typically, Blart is not underestimated because he's dangerous. He's fat. He's Kevin James. Really not that funny. It's more like any Adam Sandler movie ever, right? Adam Sandler is... Earlier movies, yeah, he got funnier, and then he got older and grizzly, and then he started actually producing a few decent movies, like Uncut Gems, and what was the other one?
I haven't seen any of them.
No. He did the basketball one. He was really great in that one. He was he recruits this.
Oh yeah, 8 Crazy Nights.
No, but good enough, I guess. So, Paul Blart is underestimated because he's earnest. He believes in procedure. He believes in rules, responsibility, even though no one else does. Like, when you get a job, it's...
Paul Blart believes that he believes that.
Whether or not...
He will break the rules to suit his own needs, and if Kevin James deems that it will make a shitty joke.
So... My thing is that Blart is not rebelling against authority, kind of like John McClane does in the movie. He wants to be authority. Like, he wants to be the guy in charge. He wants to get the lady. He wants to be the, holy shit, I'm the guy. And John McClane's like, I'm already the guy. And he's blowing shit up. He's going against the police. He's killing people left and right.
I think maybe a better point would be that John McClane is placed in a situation where he doesn't want to be an action hero, but he has to. Paul Blart is placed in a place where he can't be an action hero, but he's desperately trying to be, desperately wants to be.
Don't we all want to be action heroes?
It depends.
What do you mean? How does it depend? I mean, obviously, if you're going to
I-
college, I don't want to be an action hero in my
I
college.
generally like keeping broken glass and shit out of my feet.
I don't know. I eat that
I
for
remember there being a
breakfast.
lot of broken glass in Die Hard.
Do you remember the spoof the Family Guy did? Peter is an action hero.
No.
Really? He
I'm more of the American Dad type.
no. You would be an American Dad type. Actually, it's more funny.
Yeah.
I just think Seth MacFarlane does better with anything other than Family Guy. Like the Orville, that was good. Oh, boy.
I haven't really gotten into the Orville. Maybe I should. 500 cigarettes.
So, to you, Brett, what
What?
feels more realistic? John McClane or Paul Blart? You got a mall cop, hostage situation occurring. Actually, the both not really hostage, but it's a whatever. It's a takeover.
I think at the beginning of the movie, the person that we see John McClane as, this washed-up, depressed guy who's, I don't know if he's divorced yet or if they're just separated right now. But he's not exactly a happy guy.
Which
at
one,
the
John
start.
McClane or
John McClane?
Okay, because Paul never got married or had a girlfriend
He's
or
supposed
whatever.
to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more grizzled, but he's sort of down on his luck, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas Paul Blart is more of a caricature of the power tripping asshat.
The ass hat. That's good. So I think something to kind of think about is when these movies came out, right? So, what year did Paul Blart come out? Trying to think.
Must have been like '06 or something.
Okay. So, Paul Blart arrives...
'09.
'09? Yeah, so '08 recession. So, arrives in a post 9/11, pre-recession America. That's not right. It would be post-recession, or right? If it came out in '09?
An '08 recession, '09, yeah.
So, around that time, everything was more geared towards security, right? You got, everything going on.
TSA.
Basically. You got everything going on in the background, like, oh my God, overseas, blah, blah, blah. And you've got McClane, where I hope this is right, because I was looking, I'm trying to remember time frames, at least from the Cold War aspect. Die Hard emerges in the late Cold War America, and you've got that going on in the country, where you've got distrust of the bureaucracy and faith in individual grit dominated the pop culture of that time. So movies like The Action Hero and all, it just made sense. Like that was the era.
Is also sort of interesting because it takes place in a very Japanese time of his life,
What?
Japan used to have a very strong economy. It used to be super productive, super heavy curve in electronics manufacturing and shit. And there was some real genuine fear that Japan would displace the United States as the
Was the
leading
villain in
economic-
Die Hard the Japanese? Like, whatever?
No, the villain in the movie was East German. But it takes place in Nakatomi Tower in Los Angeles, run by Nakatomi Corp.
That's what it was. I was trying to remember how they came into the play.
A different type of foreign concern. No, but tell us more about the Cold War aspect of Hans Gruber.
That's about all I had. I mean, I assume most people know about what the Cold War was about, and then you get...
Well, I think Hans Gruber's motivation is pretty interesting. That it was not that ostensibly they're terrorists taking hostages in Nakatomi Plaza. But they're not exactly what we think of as terrorists nowadays. Terrorists used to be people who were fighting for a more secular cause most of the time.
Yeah.
For environmentalism, or in this case for communism. Right? It was more like the Oklahoma City bombings and stuff than something like 9/11. It was not radical Islamic terrorism. I also like that even though, Hans Gruber, this character, is East German communist, and ostensibly, he's trying to free communist political prisoners and blah, 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 blah. Really, it's all about the money. All about the heist going on. That
It's all
just a
about the
smoke
money,
screen
money,
for-
money. That's the only thing going through my head right now when you said that.
No, I think that is a fun little Cold War thing. That
Yeah.
under the veneer of Marxism is just greed.
Well, so given the time frames of everything, right? It is now 20 plus years for one movie and at least 10 years for another movie. Well, no, 30, 20 more, right?
17.
17 years for Paul Blart, but how much for John McClane?
1988. So
Whatever.
38.
38 years, about to say 40, but in today's day and age, I don't see a lot of action movies very similar to just the stuff they were pushing in the 80s. And even then, Paul Blart is fine, except with everything nowadays, I don't know if it would last as long. In the sense of a cultural aspect. Right?
I don't know what the fuck you mean. I mean, the last Die Hard movie came out 2013.
Did it? I was talking about the first one. I'm saying they have to modify it for today's culture. So, you got LGBTQ, you've got, more emphasis on, you want your leads to be more less white people.
There are plenty of non-white people in Die Hard. What are you talking about? I just said that it's Nakatomi Tower. You've got all the Japanese people running around. You've got the black cop on the outside.
Yeah, but what color is your lead?
Jackson hacker.
What color is your lead?
He's white. He's Bruce Willis.
Well, correct.
And there's the third black guy, the chauffeur, who's jamming out in the basement the whole time.
I'm just saying, I don't think your lead would be white if they were to do Die Hard nowadays.
Oh, fucking spare me.
And it would probably be a gay character. Nothing wrong with that.
Fuck off. No, it wouldn't.
Are you sure?
What was the last action movie you saw starring a gay black man?
Like I said, I haven't seen any action movies like that. I'm just saying.
Because they don't exist, Nick.
They should exist. I like those cheesy action movies. They're fun.
The closest thing we can think of is probably The Rock, who's like Samoan or whatever. Is he?
Yeah,
he's something like that.
Well, there you go. Again, Samoan, not white, which is okay.
Yeah, but The Rock doesn't star in everything because he's a great example of a shining example of Samoan status. It's because his face fucking sells.
I think he's just been in enough stuff to where it just works.
Exactly.
And he only ever plays one role.
Exactly.
Himself. That and Ryan Reynolds, jeez. So,
God, if they fucking remade Die Hard, they would put Ryan Reynolds in. I hate to see his stupid face crawling through vents and covered in broken glass.
You don't think...
And they would crack jokes all the time like a fucking Marvel movie.
Ugh.
You cuck.
It would take away from it. What happened to the explosions? What happened to the... I'm just saying it wouldn't... None of that's going to stand up in today's demographic.
Oh, you're right, because all the fucking queers in Congress outlawed explosions in movies. How could I forget?
Everything has to be CGI or AI. Honestly, they, yeah, could do it. Could just upload it up to ChatGPT. Put explosions in this.
Now that you say it, I'm fucking scared that they're going to. Now I'm scared that they will remake Die Hard. It was bad enough they released a fucking jillion sequels.
Well, let me ask you this.
What?
Fast and the Furious, Paul Walker, they wrote him off because the actual... well, I'm getting there. Thank you. Because that character in real life died. And then they CGI'd his face for the rest of that movie. Well, Seth MacFarlane got a lot of backlash on some of his projects because they were trying to they were trying to do CGI. They were trying to do makeup. They were trying to do a bunch of bullshit to where they could bring one of his characters to life. And the problem came in that it just doesn't look the same. So they used AI to artificially create this character. And so my question to you is, well, Bruce Willis is Die Hard. That's just how that works. So, if that's the case, do you think that they'll use AI and somebody similar looking to Bruce Willis to where they will actually get the movie to be Bruce Willis instead of where he's at now because he's old?
You'd have to ask me again, I think, after Bruce Willis died, because, like, at the moment, you know, it's like, oh, well, he made $1 jillion. I don't care too much about the integrity of his corpse getting puppeteered around by whatever movie studio. But yeah, as a matter of principle, I'm not super fond of that. But yeah, I mean, Die Hard had funny black characters and stuff. And I mean, even there in 87, 88, you know.
And maybe it
Divorce
requires
was
another
not-
watch through. You know
Yeah.
what we should do? We should have Paul Blart on one screen, Die Hard on another, and we just like try and watch both at the same time.
Well, Divorce was not still super popular back in 87, 88 when Die Hard came out. It would have still been a little bit less touchy, something that you wouldn't see too much in a movie. And for Bruce Willis's character, for John McClane to be getting divorced and getting separated and stuff, was something that was designed. That's supposed to signal to the audience that this guy is kind of emasculated, that he's down on his luck and shit.
You know. So, who wins in a fight? Paul Blart, John McClane.
How many segues does Paul Blart have?
5.
50-50.
Damn. Does John McClane get a gun?
No. That
Oh.
wouldn't be fair. Does Paul Blart get a gun?
Paul Blart can't even use a gun.
Tell us more about Paul Blart.
Well, I've actually only ever seen one of the Die Hards, which was the first one. And then I just didn't bother with the second, third, fourth, and 8 other ones that came afterwards on account of I didn't want to ruin the movie for myself. And then Paul Blart was okay in the sense that it's a fun movie to watch and turn your brain off. And then I know they came out with a second one. Now, the second one is the one that you recall very much. You know it better than you do Paul Blart 1.
Right.
And everything I remember about Paul Blart 2 ends up coming back to...
And I might be biased, but I believe that,
If you tell
Paul
me the
Blart-
sequel is better than the first one, I'm going to shoot you.
in my humble opinion,
I'm going to shoot you.
I enjoy Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 a lot better than Paul Blart Mall Cop 1. I think it's a bit less sad in its
A
own way.
lot less sad?
I think it depends less on the character of Paul Blart being a miserable sad sack failure. And it's more of a Bildungsroman, a roaming, wandering story of Paul Blart on a journey to find out who he is, and less about ripping off and parodying Die Hard.
I don't know. He parodied... It seemed like there was a few moments where they parried...
It's a direct parody of Die Hard.
Thank you. I was trying to come up with a word. I kept saying parry like I'm got a sword. Parry. Parody. Parody's nuts. You're supposed to say it, Brett. You have to say it.
Parody does not.
You have to say it.
Parody's nuts.
Got him. Anyway, continue, sir.
Maybe this is some galaxy brain Blart takes here. So let me know if this is too fucking deep for you. Do you think that Paul Blart as a franchise, as a movie, as a sequel, is a joke on Kevin James by Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler's clique?
Oh, so you think Paul Blart is nothing more than a giant joke between Adam Sandler's friend group?
If you've seen Paul Blart Mall Cop, then you would know that it's not a funny movie. That Kevin James is not funny.
No, he
it
is
makes
not.
me think that maybe this is a masterpiece, and maybe this is
Like what, they lost a bet on a poker night, and it's like, you have to be a mall cop in a movie if I win.
Do you think that Kevin James is a sad toady attached to the clique of Adam Sandler's? And
well, that does beg the question. What do you... I do believe in the, you know, if people do good for you, you should do good for them, right? Like, pay it forward, do good unto others, all that good jazz. So,
yeah,
at
there's
what
that,
point...
and then there's nepotism.
Sure. I'm just trying to... I want to know what deal or what led to Adam Sandler just paving the way for all of these people to just have shit.
Yeah, it's a thin line between doing right by your day one bros and nepotism.
Like, oh yeah, you can be in my movie, you can be my co-star, and then I could some of the movies, okay, they're good. Other parts, the gibberish, I could do without. Like, I don't know why we needed to do a Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Adam Sandler movies when I was a kid. When I didn't know any better.
Well, I still quote, "Water sucks. It really, really sucks." Just because of Waterboy. I never got the whole... like we were saying with Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne Johnson, it's just, at some point, it's the same movie with a different title, and Adam Sandler is just saying gibberish.
Yeah.
And did you ever watch King of Queens or Queens of Kings or whatever the fuck it was with Kevin James guest starring that?
No.
Okay, best part of it was the old man. He's just funny. Like, that guy was funny. And he was
the old man.
I don't know. Can't remember. As soon as you say the name, I'll know it.
Bill Murray.
No. I never thought Bill Murray was funny.
Well, that's your problem.
Well, yes. And I'm entitled to being right. It's just that old man was, like, he made the show funny. Otherwise, it was like, why am I watching this? And then his wife was... the entire show ended with them getting a divorce. And I was like, what? Because the wife gets the job she wants or something like that, and it, disrespects Kevin James. And I'm like, good for you. I mean, like, that's, yeah, don't be married to a woman that does that. It's just that entire show, it was more about the situation you were in versus the actual, like, oh, I'm witty, I'm funny. And some comedians, you just need to have a... I guess you gotta be in a setting to where you can actually enjoy them, and it's a different mindset. Like, when you were watching Adam Sandler and you are seeing those movies as a child, and he's doing the retardation voice, I don't know what else you'd call it. It's just one of those things where, yeah, that's kind of funny, haha, funny. Wouldn't stand in today's day and age. You get canceled real quick. But, if you got your own filming studios and you got an entire crew and cast that you're paying, what do they care? And there you go. And I think one of the last movies I ever saw with Bruce Willis in it was I forget what universe they call it now, but it's the one where they have the man with the 80 different personality disorders, and basically becomes a horror movie where he's got all this it's
what's
the Beast
the name of it?
Split.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got Bruce Willis, who reprises his role from an earlier movie because it was like a real big stretch to see that. I'm not real sure how that worked, but essentially he's super strong, except he has to believe that he's strong. And when he does, that it's like, oh my god, I can lift this car over my head or whatever. And he can't have, like, his weakness is water. And then Samuel L. Jackson, he plays an incredibly, like, insane guy, like, where he looks like Beethoven, and he's like the brain, and he's like, I orchestrated all of this, blah blah blah. And all three people meet, and it's just like, it's a weird reality meets superhero moment. And I think they were just reaching, because obviously last 20 years has been nothing but, let me shove as much superhero shit down your throat as possible. It gets a little much. So that's about pretty much all I can think of about Bruce Willis and good old Paul Blart. I kind of agree with you that in a 5 segues on Paul Blart's head, he probably run good old John McClane over. I think John McClane is more in true combat, life or death. Definitely John. Culturally, more Paul Blart. Just because he's more relatable, And there ain't going to be a lawsuit. So,
I mean, I think there's a real argument to be made that Die Hard is a funnier movie than Paul Blart.
really?
Like I told you, it does have its moments of levity. It's not Marvel dialogue, but it has fun moments and shit. More, but Kevin James is not funny, and Paul Blart is not a funny character. He's a sad character who acts like an asshole towards other people all the time, especially in the first one.
That's just that's just how they wrote the character. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow. You really should go into writing.
How to be an asshole. I can do that. Watch me. So, Brett, any closing remarks? Should people watch Paul Blart, or should they watch the first Die Hard?
If you haven't seen Die Hard, then you should. If you haven't seen Paul Blart, then you're probably not missing anything.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 2. Verily I say unto thee, one's worth is not in what they throw away, but what they are willing to dive back in for. I need to address an issue regarding the unpaid interns. While overall productivity has improved, there's a recurring decline following what they described as after-hours research. Translation, excess beverages were consumed. The next morning metrics were predictable. Cognitive clarity, compromised. Regret index, elevated. Sunlight compatibility, low. That's when we implemented liqueur gummies. They're formulated with DHM, which helps your body process alcohol, along with milk thistle, B vitamins, electrolytes, and ginger root to support recovery and hydration. You enjoy your evening, you support recovery. You wake up to regret your decisions with a clear head and a settled stomach. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at liqueur.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a kaleidoscope attempting to intuit your future by reading tea leaves, we'll warn you. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just protecting tomorrow, you're supporting the continued operational stability of the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your patronage. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 4. Remember, cleanliness is next to loneliness. Seek the comfort of clutter. And that's all for this week on Some Topic, the show where logic is seasonal, facts are optional, and the raccoons are 2 paychecks behind. If you're a liberal, please keep your critiques to yourself. Our unpaid interns have adopted a shoot first, shred later policy, and we're in a stand your ground state after all. HR has yet to get back to us with a solution, so stand by. To the rest of you, keep your coffee black, your sarcasm sharp, and your reality on airplane mode. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay caffeinated, and stay just interested enough to keep the surveillance squirrels guessing while we slip out the back.